Corporate governance. Initial dialogue.
That's where we stand right now. All in all, things are going pretty much the way I planned. Do you have any questions?
When are you going to start showing a profit? It's been a year now.
My plans are all laid out here, Mr. Quinn. We are currently in the stage of building a strong market share. But we still need more time to break even, you know.
How about the IPO? When is that scheduled?
It's a bit too early to talk about that. You both are being too impatient. You just have to trust me to run my company the best I can.
Your company?
Yes, my company.
Let me set the record straight here, young man. This company is more mine than yours.
But I am the one on the front line.
Where I come from, management and ownership are totally separate functions.
I am afraid I have to agree with Walter on this.
But I don't have to remind you the employees are the most important assets of a company. Without them, the company is nothing. So in my mind, they are the company, and the company belongs to them.
Sorry, hero. The world doesn't work that way anymore.
MBA lecture, Corporate Governance. Who is a company's most important stakeholder? Is it the shareholder who puts up the money, the customer who buys the product, or the employee who puts in the effort? If it's a shareholder, does a company focus on making short-term profits? If it's a customer, does a company focus on making great products? Or, if it's the employee, does a company focus on long-term stability? These are questions that are being asked today in many corporate boardrooms. Key stakeholder. If you really think about it, without the capital provided by investors, there would be no company. Therefore, management's main objective should be to maximize shareholder value by increasing the company's share price and/or returning profits, dividends. In order to accomplish this, management must constantly strive to achieve high growth and profitability. The former requires great products that customers value, whereas the latter requires well-trained employees to ensure efficient operations. Each of these stakeholders is linked, with the failure of one eventually leading to the failure of another. Ultimately, however, it is the shareholder whose interests must be placed above all others. Board of Directors. The Board of Directors is supposed to represent the interest of the shareholders, monitoring company operations and setting strategic targets. It has authority to make management changes and acts as a centerpiece of the annual shareholders' meeting, during which time new board members may be elected by the shareholders. Typically, boards are comprised of representatives from key investor groups or prominent individuals from outside the industry. One or two key management members, such as the CEO or president, may also be included. This outsider perspective is seen by many as an effective counterweight to the insider perspective of management.
Corporate governance. Application dialogue.
I've been thinking about what you said, Mr. Wilkins, and you are right. Ownership is what counts.
I'm glad you saw the light.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I have some news for you.
Really? What?
I've made a new financing arrangement that will buy out both your shares of this company.
What do you mean? You never told us that you were working on something like that.
I'm sorry, but I had to move fast. Furthermore, I didn't want to be questioned to death before I even get started.
I don't know what you're talking about.
At what price, hero?
Don't worry. Both of you will get a handsome return on your investment.
Why are you doing this?
Well, I want to have more control. But in order to do so, I need a greater equity stake. My new partner has agreed to a 60-40 arrangement, which will give me full management control.
You are making things very difficult for me. But if you insist on doing this, I'll need to get the proper authorization.
I hope you won't take too long, Mr. Quinn. What about you, Mr. Wilkins?
If the numbers work, I'm all for it.
Well, gentlemen, it's been nice doing business with you.
Leadership in the 21st century. Initial dialogue.
How's it going, hero? It's been a while since we last met.
Things are under control, Mr. Quinn. We are expanding very rapidly, you know.
That's very good. But are you making money yet, Hiro?
Yes, we are. In fact, the way things are going, our return on equity will exceed yours shortly.
Really? Well, congratulations are in order, I guess.
How's your company doing?
Oh, we're doing okay considering the status of our industry. But both our sales and profits are down. And to make matters worse, we are losing market share.
Why do you think that is?
To be honest, I don't know. Some customers simply stopped doing business with us. They said they could get better deals with companies who have more internet capabilities. I am still not convinced yet that e-commerce could change the way we do business in any fundamental way. Others say we may be falling behind the times.
What is management doing about this?
Oh, not much, I suppose. They seem to think that the internet is a wonderful innovation, but with serious limitations. I tend to agree and think there is plenty of room in the market for good old-fashioned bricks-and-mortar business.
What are you doing about it, Mr. Quinn?
Me? What can I do? I'm just an old dog. I only hope that the company will survive this digital revolution and I'll get to keep my job.
Mr. Quinn, I'm afraid that is wishful thinking on your part. You have to do something. Revolutions tend to change the status quo.
MBA lecture, Leadership in the 21st Century. What is it going to take to be successful in the 21st century? Is being big an advantage or disadvantage? How can companies continue to challenge and motivate their workers? And finally, what is the difference between managers and leaders? These questions and more will be addressed in this lecture. Stay tuned. Companies in the 21st century. For many years, people have equated large, powerful companies with success. It always seemed like the bigger, the better. Companies often pride themselves on their rising employee counts, or their number of global offices, or on their ranking in the Fortune 500. They continuously gobbled up other companies to secure their place in the industry, hoping that through sheer size alone they could overwhelm the competition. But guess what? The rules have all changed. Bigger is no longer necessarily better. In fact, in many instances, bigger may be worse. Blame it all on the growing cloud of technology-based industries that place a premium on speed and flexibility, two ingredients sorely lacking in most big companies with multiple management layers and an entrenched bureaucracy. In today's business environment, the real industry leaders are those companies which can quickly identify new opportunities and develop innovative products and services, as well as have the flexibility to adapt business strategies to meet rapidly changing market conditions. Employment conditions in the 21st century. Lifetime employment is soon to be a thing of the past. Compensation will become more performance-driven, with profit sharing and stock options used to motivate and reward high achievers. Frequent job hopping will become more common as people seek out new and better employment opportunities. Flexible work environments will become more prevalent to reflect the changing lifestyles of people and to contain cost. More and more workers will become hired guns, contracting out their services for a defined period of time to the highest bidder. Outsourcing services to other companies and offshoring production to other countries will continue to play a key role, although companies may begin to rethink the long-term cost of both. Leadership in the 21st century. Does effective leadership equal effective management? The answer is no. Managers do things right, whereas leaders do the right thing. Or, to look at it another way, managers can lead you through the forest, whereas leaders climb the highest tree and tell you you're in the wrong forest. Unfortunately, most companies have too many managers and not enough leaders. Effective leadership in the 21st century will demand someone who is entrepreneurial, a risk-taker who is willing to take the road less traveled, as well as someone who can inspire others to do the same. It will require someone with business knowledge covering a variety of disciplines, marketing, accounting, finance, HR, strategy, etc., as well as someone who can focus on the big picture. And, most importantly, it will necessitate a person of vision, someone who can look beyond the next quarter or fiscal year, someone who can peer into the future and see all the possibilities. That someone could be you.
Leadership in the 21st century. Application dialogue.
I brought along an old colleague of ours. You remember Hiro, Mr. Yamamoto?
Yes, indeed. You were that aggressive guy who bought out our spin-off e-commerce venture. How's it going?
Things are moving along fine, Mr. Yamamoto. Thank you.
He says his ROE may be higher than ours next year.
Wow, that's great. Maybe we should have kept our stake in the company. Anyway, what can I do for you today?
I am here today to see how things are going with you.
Us? Oh, we're still doing all right. The banks are getting a little nervous since our borrowings are comparably larger than our earnings. But things have always been like that given the cyclical nature of our business.
I see. So you haven't really changed your basic business model, have you?
How can we? We have huge investments and our revenues are not growing as fast as we would like. Ours is a tough, traditional business, you know.
Are you doing anything to change the status quo?
Status quo? We're always trying new things. What exactly are you saying, Hiro?
I'm saying maybe I can help.
But your track record is with a small startup. We are a large established company.
That may be true, but the new online system I created fits perfectly well with your kind of business as well. I think I owe that much to my former company, who made me what I am today.
So we'll see if we can work together as equal business partners now, right? Fine. Let's talk.